So we are discussing on the classical report. As a part of classical report, we were discussing on one of the requirement. So the requirement is the stock details of material based on the plant and the store location. So we wanted to get the stock of each individual material at the individual plant and the respective storage location level. So as per the requirement, we have designed the report, we have designed the selection screen. Based on the selection screen, we are getting the output screen, output list. So we have created some set-top button by creating our separate GUI status by using SE14. That is a part of menu vendor. So for each application, SAP has given the default GUI status. GUI status are nothing but set-top buttons on menu toolbar, on function key, on title bar, on application toolbar. Now, if you want to add any of the single, even if you want to add even single button also, you need to create your own custom GUI status. And that will be applicable to only your program. It doesn't mean that it's going to be applicable to entire SA38 program application. No, it will be only for your individual program. And that we are going to set by using the event set PF or add PF status. Now, the requirement was, even suppose user want to update any of the material. So then of course you need to go to MM02. So for that you need to open a session in parallel. Like you are going to open the session in parallel. There you are going to pass the MM02 transaction, means you need to run this MM02 transaction. Click on enter so that this change of your material screen will open. But user is saying there is a lengthy way. So he wanted the shortcut. So what we did, we have created one button within the like your output list. So when user click on this button, it will take you to the MM02. Now user come up with some additional thing. What is that? See, suppose he want to update this material. It means what? You need to copy, you need to click on this button, and again you need to paste over here. But in certain situation, that copy paste button is also inactive. You cannot make copy and paste on every application. Sometimes it is visible. In that situation, you need to enter the material or any input manually. So user is saying that, see here the material number is very easy way, like 100-110. Sometimes material numbers are in alphanumeric combination, and that is 18 character. Then how to recall and pass it over here? Again, it's a lengthy way. Now user is expecting one more shortcut way. What is that? He is saying that whatever the material which I want to update, give me some shortcut so that whenever I call this MM0 screen, I want that material to be auto populated here. What user is saying, suppose I want to edit this material. I want to edit this material. So this material should be auto populated here. This material should be auto populated here. Now I have to edit this one. Now this is a MM02 screen, nothing but a different application, and your program is in different application, that is a part of SC38. Now what user is saying, whenever I click on that material change button, I should call the MM02, and that is working. Now whatever the material which I want to update, so that material need to be auto populated, auto displayed in that MM02 screen. So you are in ABAP editor screen. So this is your ABAP editor. This is open in one of the session number 1. Okay, so here there is a report, and this report you do have the material number, something like any material 100-100. Now what we are doing, we have created one button called material change. If we click on that, it is calling the material change screen, material change screen, and that is a transaction code called MM02, and it is opening another session. This is your session 2. Session nothing but a screen, different screen. And here you do have the material number field.
This conference will now be recorded.
So your program is running in one session, and there you do have the set of data. And now what user wanted to do in the same with that same screen, he want to call another session. Like usually we will open that session explicitly. In that session, we will run the transaction explicitly. But user don't want to go with that explicit job. So what we have done, we have created one of the buttons in this report. Whenever user click on this button, this session is going to be called automatically. That is working. But what user is saying, actually he wanted to update this material. So what user is expecting, whenever he call this another session, this material need to be auto copied over here. He wants this 100-100 material which is there in ABAP editor in your session 1. That data need to be comes automatically to the session 2 under this material change. Now, first question is this possible? If yes, then what is the solution? You know, in SAP, we do have two things. One with the ABAP memory, another with SAP memory. In the interview, they might ask you, what is the ABAP and SAP memory? See, now I want to pass the data from one session to another session. This we can achieve by using the SAP memory. Now your data is in ABAP editor in one session. Now you want to take that data to another session, which is running in another application, like another screen. Session means another screen. So if you look at over here, can you see the two tabs? This is the change material. This is in a different screen. That is a part of session 2. And this is in a different screen with the different session. That is a part of session 1. Like different screen, different application. And I want to access or pass the data across the application. Means one screen to another screen, one application to another application. In that situation, you can achieve this job by using the SAP memory. Similarly, we do have the ABAP memory. Now, what is the meaning of ABAP memory? You know, the stack concept. In your every programming language, you do have the stack concept. Stack. In general meaning, if you want to explain me about the stack, suppose you are traveling from source to destination. Let's assume you are traveling from Pune to Bangalore. Let's assume. Now, do you think is it 1 hour, 2 hour journey if you're going by road or the train? No, it is around 14 to 15 hours journey. And it doesn't mean that here I'm going to get into the train or the bus and directly I'm going to get it down in the destination. No, in the middle you will get the many stops. You're going to get down for the tea, you're going to get down for the breakfast or lunch, so and so. Now, once you reach to the destination, of course, whoever you want to visit there or there in the destination, this can simply ask you, how was your journey? Then you can trying to explain like we have started at this time, then we like get down at for the tea at this time at this location, then we get down at breakfast or maybe the lunch or maybe the dinner. You're going to explain, you're going to like discuss with your travel journey. So you are going to rewind, you are recalling the things which you have already done. That is nothing but the stack only, right? It doesn't mean that you just onboarding the bus or the train and you're going to get down or deboarding at the destination. It is not a 1 or 2 journey, 1 or 2 hour journey. It is a long, lengthy journey, and you need to like share your travel experience. In that situation, you are going to tell them that I just onboarded at this place, then I have get down for the tea, and then get down for the breakfast, and then lunch, and so things. Sometimes your bus will fail, that maybe you are refilling for the so and so. You are going to discuss with them your travel experience. So that is nothing but the in programming language we can call it as a stack. So when your program has started execution from your start point to till end point, what was the journey of your program? Means what are all the program he has visited, what are all the subroutine he has visited, what are all the function model he has visited, so on. I will show you in the program what is the program stack. Now if I go with the debug mode, Now suppose if I place a breakpoint over here, something over here, if I click on execute, this is my start point. I'm going to execute my program. If I click on execute, now whatever the breakpoint you're reaching, if I go with the desktop 2, can you see this is your standard, then desktop 3, then desktop 2. In the desktop 2, you do have this stack concept, ABAP and screen stack. So it is always in reverse. You're rewinding your journey. You're rewinding. So that is what. So can you see the numbering? It will always in reverse. First, it has at the screen number 1000, then he has at SYST ABRUN, then now he is at the start of selection. And here you will get the program details as well. Can you see event, the program name, the include name? Likewise, you can visit the many things. Now from your Pune to Bangalore journey, you had only 3 stops. Maybe you can have more also, right? So how many stops you have done, that is a part of your stack. So this is first, this is two, and this is the third. Now this is the third location where it's sitting. This is your cursor, right? So likewise, you can jump from one program to another program within the session. Now within the session. Now let's assume this is your one of the program. Let's assume I'm just giving the scenario when we need to go with the ABAP memory. Now you like whatever the program you're executing, the same program is visiting the different logical part means maybe function model, maybe another. So you can call one program into another program also. Now suppose you do have one of the executable program and that executable wanted to call in another executable program. That is also possible using the keyword called submit. Like in executable program, you can call the include program by using include keyword. In the same way, you can call one executable program into another executable program. We will see in the future, not to worry. But just I'm giving you a scenario. You are executing this program, so you are visiting the different part of logic, maybe in the format of function model, include, subroutine, so and so. Now, suppose likewise you do have 10 stack. Let's assume this is your first, second, third, fourth, so on, so on. Now you have started your journey from here upwards, right? And now currently you are in this position. Now here you want to write one logic. Let's assume here you want to write one logic. And that logic is depends upon one of the data. The logic is depends on one of the data, and that data is in the format of work area, internal table, variable, anything, and that data is available in this area. The data which you needed, the logic which you want to apply at the somewhere within the same session, somewhere. Suppose in the ninth, in the stack ninth position, here you want to write some logic. In the debugging, you will get to know that, oh, I need to write. So my logic is getting failed. Maybe my output is getting failed. So in the debug, you get to realize that, oh, here I need to write some more logic to get the requirement fulfilled. Now, whatever the logic which you want to write, that logic is depends upon one of the data. And that data is available in this area. The logic which you want to write on one of the data, that data does not exist here. Instead, that data is available somewhere here, somewhere here. Then how to access the data from this area to this area? That we can call as accessing the data from stack. Accessing the data from ABAP stack. So there are the different way, and one of the ways ABAP memory. Within the same session, if you want to access the data from one stack to another stack, then we need to go with the ABAP memory. Now, if you want to access the data from one session to another session, means now this time applications are different, sessions are different, then SAP memory, right? So here, if I go with first the ABAP memory, it uses the export and the import. When an active session, another internal session. Within a single main session. So you are currently at the ninth row. It means that is a part of active session. You are currently at the ninth. If you look at in the debug mode, where you are currently standing at the line number 3, it means it is an active session. Means currently you are active in this stack position. Now what you want to do? Internally, from stack 1, I want to read the data into stack 3. Sometimes you declare the local variable, right? Local variables means the data will be available only when you in that position. Once you come out of that position, then you cannot access the data. The data is not accessible outside that position. Sometimes you want to access the data from one internal sessions to another internal session within your main session. Now this is your main program, this is your main session. Now in that we do have the mini stack. Now if you want to access the data from one stack to another stack, maybe the data in the format of variable, work area, internal table, anything, then we need to go with the ABAP memory. And for that we need to use a keyword called export. Export and the import. So it means you need to export the data from here by using the keyword export itself, and you need to import the data here using the keyword import itself. Now what do you want to export? You can export variable, work area, internal table from memory ID to memory ID. So syntax is export your variable, work area or internal table from memory ID, anything, any name. Suppose you are staying in one of the city, and suppose you want to send some parcel to another city, and that is a 1 or 2 hour journey. Now what we supposed to do? Of course you do have the daily routine buses, maybe the government public buses or maybe some private buses. Now what you can do? You will wait at the bus stand and you look. Suppose if you do the courier, it will take 1 or 2 days time, right? I want to deliver that product immediate basis. So personally, if you ask me, then what we do is like we will look for the local buses which is traveling on daily basis. Now what we do, we will give it to the driver and we will give some extra amount or some tips to them, so that we will call to the destination. Where do you want to get deliver that product? We will call them. This is the bus number. It will reach at this time. So please go in advance and wait at the bus stop. And you can ask to the driver. I have given it to the driver, and you can collect from the driver. That is what. So this memory ID is something like to whom you have given or from whom you want to collect that person name, and that person is never be a fix. The drivers could be different and he is not known to you. This is a third person. Same way, when you are exporting any data from your memory ID, so you need to define the memory ID so that while collecting, he will collect from the same memory ID. So I can say import the data from variable, work area or internal to memory ID, the same memory ID which has used to export. You need to collect from same driver. This is the syntax, but it is when within the session. But our requirement is what? We need to pass the data across the system. Then we need to go with SAP memory. So here I can say it uses set and get parameters to pass the data from one session another. So ABAP memory is within the session, one internal to another internal, but within the main session. But SAP memory across the session. You can extend the data from one session to another session. That is a part of SAP memory. And during the SAP memory, we will use a keyword called get and the set. Here we use export and import. Here we use get and the set. Syntax. If you want to get the data, we say get cursor field, field name, value, value name. So if you want to pick any data or if you want to assign the data, then we need to go with, so pick the data from any application, then we need to go with the get cursor, or we do have the get parameter ID also. Similarly, if you want to assign, so it will, I can say it will get, or I can say pick the data from the data selected by user from output list. Similarly, we do have set parameter ID, field, field value. It will assign the value to respective memory ID in an application. Now, what is the requirement? From SC38, you do have the output list. From there, you need to pick the data, and that data you need to take to the MM02 application and place it. So from SC38, from the output list, whatever the data which you want to pick, that you can pick by using the get cursor. And this is the syntax. He will pick both field name and the field value. But that whatever the data you have picked, that data you need to take to the MM02 screen, and there we need to assign. And to assign, we use set parameter ID. Right? Now here the requirement is, so this is your output list. Now I need to pick this data. So for that, you need to just click on that. If you want to, which data you want to pick, you need to place a cursor on that. So I want to pick this data. Who is going to help you for this? Get cursor. So he will pick both field name and field value. And after picking the data, where do you want to get assigned? In the MM02. I want to assign this data in a MM02. So this is a MM02 application. Now user as like system is asking, in the MM02 you do have two field, material number and the chain number. Exactly in these two field, where do you want to assign that 100 hyphen whatever the data you have picked it from the previous application, where do you want to get assigned in this application? So I'm saying that I want to get it assigned in material number field. So that you can do by using set parameter. See, when you are convincing to the system, we need to give the instruction to the system in a way he understand. So here you are finding this description as a material number and the chain number. This is for end user understanding, human being understanding. Now, how to convince to the system? Like you need to assign this value here. So this we can assign by using some, every mobile phone will be having some unique identification as IMEI number. If you want to connect to the any particular system, we need to have the IP address of the system. Same way in SAP, in the application, whatever the fields we do have, every field will be having some unique identification as memory ID. Memory ID is nothing but something path. Now, whatever the data which you supposed to find here, internally system will work with the help of memory ID. Now, if you want to find the memory ID of any field in an application, just do F1. If I click F1 on this field, you will get the pop-up, and that pop-up is a part of technical help. Now, in that, you can click on this field, tool. If you click on this, can you see this parameter ID? This is a parameter ID, nothing but the memory ID for the material number in an application called MM01. So parameter ID, nothing but memory ID is unique for each field in an application. Now, what was the memory ID for this material? MAT. Similarly, for this chain number, it would be different. Can you see? This is AEN. Now, let's work logically. Now, what is our requirement? Whenever user click on that material change button, now here. Now, what we need to do? We need to say get cursor field. So we need to declare one variable called any variable to hold your data which you have picked it by the system and the value, and then we need to say set parameter ID mat field value. So what we need to do, we need to declare two variables, lvfnam in bracket 20, lvfval in bracket 20. Now see here, I have not assigned any data type. It means what? The default data type, it will be considered as character. Now what we need to do is, what this get cursor will do, he will pick both field name and the field value. So when we pick the field name, to hold the field name, we need some variable. So we declare the variable. So what system will do? He will pick the field name, pass it to this variable. He will pick the field value, pass it to this variable. Now, whatever the value you have picked it up, whatever the value you have received, that value we need to assign. Where? In MM02 screen. In the MM02 screen, we do have two fields or maybe more than that, material number and the chain number. Now, where exactly you want to place that data which you have selected from the output list? So we are letting known to the system, the field who is having the parameter ID as mat, there you can assign the value. Now, whose field having the parameter as mat? Material number, which we have already checked it over here. Can you see if I do F1 over here? Can you see parameter ID? Now, when it comes to the MM02 screen, he will check whose parameter ID is mat, the field called material number. So he will place that value which it has selected. Now you can see I'm going to place the breakpoint over here. Now first we will activate this one, place the breakpoint, click on execute. See, I'm going to click on this 100-101. Just place the cursor, click on that, just place and go with this material change. Go with this material change. Okay. Now here you can see what is the SciUCom mat_1301. It means here. Now what get cursor will do? Here you can work with the get cursor also. You can go with the get parameter ID also. The way we are using the get parameter set parameter ID, you can work with the get parameter ID also, or you can go with the get cursor. Both are going to do the same job. Both will be, see, get will pick the value, set will assign the value, and that is what we are going to do. With the get cursor, we are picking the value, right? Now, on which value we have placed our cursor? The field was, this is a work area name, right? You are populating the data from the work area, so this is the name of that work area column, and this is the value which you have placed your cursor. Now what we are going to do, we just pick the value, and that value we want to assign in mm02 screen. In that screen, the field whose parameter ID is mat, there you can place the value. See, not only this, now even though if you click on this description also, it will take the description for you. See, we pick the material, this is the field name, this is the value. Likewise. So what get cursor will do, wherever you have placed your cursor, for that cursor position, he will you. Similarly, you can go with the get cursor, or you can go with the get parameter ID. The way we do have the set parameter ID, it's the same way we do have the either you can go with the get cursor, or you can go with the get parameter ID. ID. This is your memory ID. Field. Field value. So the difference between the get cursor and the get parameter ID will only pick the field value, whereas get cursor it will pick both field name, field value. You can go with anything.
This conference will now be recorded.
So in real time, as a part of an ABAP developer, we do have some roles and responsibilities, as we already discussed. Like first, we are going to receive the requirement from your team lead, maybe manager. Maybe sometimes you can get the requirement directly from the client also, but it is totally depends on which organization you're working for. If you're working for the product based company, then you might have the direct interaction to the client also. If you're working with a service based company, then we do have some protocols over there. You must receive the requirement via functional or maybe team lead or the manager. Mostly 99% of case you don't have the direct interaction with the client. Totally depend, but as a part of like evaper, we do have some roles and responsibilities. We are going to receive the requirement, then we are going to analyze it, then we are going to estimate it, then we are going to start the development. Once the development has been finished, you are going to perform the unit testing, then we are going to release the object to the testing server, and then we are going to prepare the technical specification document. But in real time, along with the development, so whatever the requirement you have received, whatever the development you are going to do, that is one side. Of course, you need to fulfill. But along with the development, you need to take care about the performance. Performance is nothing but what? How healthy your program is, and how you are going to judge does your program is healthy or not. Is there any tool? Like suppose as a human being, how I'm going to be sure I'm a healthy person? It is totally depends upon the activity which you are going to do on day-to-day basis. If you're not able to lift up any 10 kg bag, 15 kg bag, then I don't think you are a fit person. Means totally depends upon your age and the capacity. That is the second thing. But I'm talking about on an average normal person. Not only lifting up the weight, it is sometimes that is totally depends upon how much time, like how longer you can walk, how longer you can run, how long you can like stop your breath. It is totally depends. A normal healthy person is having day to day routines. And of course, now suppose I'm working for any organization, how they're going to judge my performance, the, like how I'm going to take the task, how much time I'm going to deliver it, is there any delay every time, do I'm going to do the job on a perfect basis. There are many parameters matters. Same way, a healthy person, there are many parameters to judge does is healthy or not. But if you're really sick, now suppose if I go to the doctor, how like judge like how is going to be identify like how it's going to be look either you are a healthy or not. If you're really feeling sick, then you need to go to the doctor. Then normal three tests he's going to do. Test in the sense the routine checkup. Before he start the treatment, he will check your pulse. He will check your means the check like your pulse is normal or abnormal. During if you're feeling sick, your pulse definitely abnormal. For the normal person, the pulse rate is between 70 to 100, 99 something. If it is less or more, then of course you're feeling sick. During the normal fever case also, your pulse rate will be vary. Next, they will check your blood pressure, right? Before start giving the treatment, see if your blood pressure is not normal, no medicine will work. It's very dangerous. The third thing is like he's going to look for the temperature. Even if you start.
This conference will now be recorded.
So these are the normal the doctors are going to do, like take the normal things before they start giving the treatment. It's like similarly in ABAP world also, we do have some set of parameters. With that or set of tools we do have, like to check the BP, they do have the BP operator, the BP machines. To take the temperature, we do have the device. Even to check the pulse, the oxygen level also we do have. They can check by in hand also, they do have the devices also. Same way, to check the performance of your program, SAP has provided the tool. See, once after getting the six, then only you need to visit the doctor. That is a normal routine. But to avoid the doctor, to take care of our health so that you should not be fall sick. See, normal getting the cold fever, that is a route. It's totally depends upon the climate. But to be healthy, you need to take care of yourself. And for that, you need to follow some healthy diet, not only food level, but you do have some all the proper things. Same way, once after getting the sick, then only of course we will visit the doctor, and to avoid the doctor we need to do some many day-to-day routines. Same way, once after developing the program, to check the performance of a programming rather than develop the program in such a way that along with your development your performance should also be balanced. Getting my point? Once after developing the program, to check the performance of your program, that is a normal routine. We will visit the doctor only when we get the sick. But before that, to be avoid to visit the doctor, you need to be fit yourself. And to fit yourself, you need to do the many day-to-day routine activity. Same way, once after developing the programming, checking the performance rather than wasting your time, along with the development, make sure that your program performance is also balanced. But if I want to check the performance of a programming, I do have the tool. We will discuss it separately. But to maintain the performance of a programming, how to be sure like my programming performance is balanced? Does it depends upon one or two points? Of course, no. Like similarly, as a human being, to balance your healthy routine, it is not really depends upon one or two activity. So you do how many like have a healthy food, then have the food at a proper specific time, and of course get in the early, go to the bed early. Then we do have some minimum steps in a day which you need to perform. You need to have the enough water in a day. There are many things. Same way, to maintain the performance of your programming, it is depends upon multiple points. So that is a part of performance tuning, we can say. Even if you go with a normal blood donation, they are going to check your blood. They are going to do the blood testing. That is a normal. It doesn't mean that you go to the doctor, then only they will do the testing. Normal in certain scenarios also they are going to. And you need to take care of yourself, your health. No one is going to ask you. Same way, in real time, whatever the programming you're developing, of course, it's a job of team leader, the manager, before they deliver the object to the client, they also need to be cross-checked. That is a different things, but it's your basic responsibility, it's your basic ethics as well. Now, on what point really this performance depends? So always divide the program. You should not, like currently whatever the program I have written, this program has been written in one single part, and this is a very bad idea. You should not write the program in one single part. You can use the modularization technique to create or to divide program into number of parts. The reason behind, to make more manageable, to make more manageable and reusable. The reason behind to divide the program to make it more manageable and the reusable. Next, avoid using select star. What select star is going to do? He will get all the column for you, but you should not select all the column from the table. Select only those column which required. Unnecessary, it will like consume the memory and which is keep the load on your database. Do you think for your personal mobile or the laptop you will keep your unnecessary stuffs in your mobile? No. Most of the WhatsApp forwarded images, you are of course not going to download that one. Even though if you accidentally download, you're going to delete it immediately because you don't want to waste your mobile phone memory. That's same applicable to your system also. Then avoid writing select statement within the loop. You should not write any select statement inside the loop. If you are doing so, then it's a suicide. You should not write. Avoid using loop within the loop. Writing loop within the loop, that's a part of nested loop. We can call it as a nested loop. It is something like bulbulaya, right? You should not do. Even it will keep like it will make a load on your system. And to avoid this one, we need to work on parallel cursor. Now, what is the meaning of parallel cursor? That we will see in the future. Then avoid hard coding. Avoid hard coding. Hard coding in the sense, whatever the things you're writing in this color, this is a part of hard coding. And to avoid the hard coding, you need to work on either you need to create the text element or you need to work on the constants. Constants, variable, both are same. Variable is going to hold the dynamic data. Constant is going to hold the fixed data or the static data. I will show you how to create the constants. Next, sort the internal table as and when required. Sort the internal tables as and when required. See, by default, searching of your data is sequential or linear. The most fastest way of searching the data is binary. And for that binary, the prerequisite is what? Your internal table should be sorted. Now, like internal table which we are discussing, that is a generic way. Type table of is generic way. Again, in the internal table, we do have the types, standard, in sorted, and the hashed. That we'll see later. Right? Again, like we do have some other points also. First, we will see. And secondly, once after developing the program, I told you that you need to follow these points. But still, After following the all these points, still it's our like generic ethics to check the performance. And to check the performance of your programming, SAP has provided the tools, and those are one with extended program check. Sometimes we can call it as a EPC also. Then comes with code inspector, and the third one is ABAP test cockpit, nothing but ATC. These are the three different tools. All three tools will be used to check the performance of your programming, and 90% of case all three are going to be give the same results, same result, even though you do the EPC or CI, ATC, all are same. But sometimes, so here also one more point, do not declare all the variables globally, all the variables, or I can say all the data objects globally. When you run any one of these tool, of course 90 result will be the same. But here, if I go with ATC or the CI, the added advantage is what? Some client will be having their restricted naming standard. Like you should create the work area in this name only. If you create you should create the internal table in this name only. You should create the structure in this name only. They will be having the restriction. And suppose sometimes we are going to forget that one, and accidentally if you declare the work area with the different name, that error you can get in the ATC or CI, not in the EPC. EPC never give the like tuning result, which is repeats upon the naming standard. Sometimes, of course, every client will be having the naming standard. Did you follow the naming standard or not completely? That error we never get in the EPC. If you want to get those error, you can go with the ABAP test cockpit also. Some clients are very strict. You can call it as a performance tuning, or you can call it as a slim check also. We can call it as a slim check. Slim check is nothing but performance. Did you follow all coding standard as per the SAP and the client? Some client will be having the restrictions. You must do this only. You must do this only. So thus such kinds we can get in the ATC, not in the EPC. EPC will give the generic as per the SAP, like points which we discussed, right? But again, you can find one of the more important thing in the ABAP test cockpit is, suppose sometimes your statement make more like it will impact on the performance is high priority level, means it is impacting the more and more issue on your program. Such statement will get highlighted in the ABAP test cockpit. Sometimes your program will work fine, you are getting the result okay, but sometimes some statement make more issues. So which statement is making more issue, or which statement is taking a longer time for the execution, such we can get it in the ABAP test cockpit, not in the EPC. So this is some generic difference between the EPC and the ATC. So we will go with the ATC only when clients demand, as per the client demands. But no client, like some clients will be restricted, they will ask you to go with the CI or ATC. But if no one is asking like which tool you should use, then normally we will go with the EPC, extended program check. This is the normal method. But if you use any one of these three, 90% of results are same, right?
This conference will now be recorded.
Now we will create a separate program. Now before that, if you want to see the tools EPC, ETC, then you can go with the program, check, you can see ABAP test cockpit, ATC, then code inspector and the extended program check. Until unless any client is going to ask you to go with ATC or CI, then only you can go with, otherwise normally we will go with the extended program check. 90% of results are same. So I will go with extended program check. So make sure that all checkboxes are selected. See, some few checkboxes are not selected over here. So instead of selecting the individual, you can select activate all checks. See, all checkbox has been selected. Now click on execute. Can you see This is a error column, this is a warning column, and this is somewhat information. At any cost, your error and the warning must be zero. At any cost, your errors and the warning must be zero. Sometimes you cannot fix all the warnings. If some warnings are open, that's okay, but you should have the proper justification. But at any cost, your error must be zero. Some clients are very strict. If you do find any single error also, they will not allow you to raise a TR, right? So you do have total 17 plus 4 what? Almost 21 errors. And that error related to something like character strings, and 4 are related to the currency and quantity field. Now, if you double click on this 17, what it is saying, string without text element are not translated. These are the part of hard coding. I told that you should not use the hard coding. Now, suppose you are saying that I don't want to fix this one, but I don't want, see, I told you that this we can call as sling check also, sling. So here there are two scenarios. First you need to fix it, or you can bypass also. How to bypass? So if you want to bypass this error, then we need to use this cheat code, or we can say pragma. We can call it as a pragma, or we can say pseudocode. Either you can call it as a pragma or pseudocode. Means I want the system to bypass this message from the sling. I want system to bypass this message from the sling. Then you can use the pragma. Pragma is something like you are skipping the, suppose if you go to the airport and if you are traveling to some other country, you do have some security check. It is something like you are bypassing that security check. That is a threat. That is a issue. Means only you are bypassing the system, but that error will be remain there. You do have two options. Either you can fix this one, or you can use the pseudocode to bypass this error from the sling check. And all messages are related to the hard coding only. You should avoid this hard coding. You should not use the hard coding. And to avoid this hard coding, you do have to either you can create the text element or the constant. If these are related to, now you can ask me within the, here I have written already. You can go with the text element or constant. Now you can ask me, when should I go with the text element? When should I go with the constant? If it is a related to the statement, now you can see these are the part of statement which is in the combination of upper and the lower case. These are something like a statement. Text, then you can go with the text element. And if it is related to the value, like 1, so if you come down here, you can some find values as well. I'm not finding, but sometimes it is a value as well. So in that case, you need to go with the constant. I will let you know. And these are 4. Now if I go with this second 4 set of error, these are related to what it is saying. Use a currency addition when specifying the DMBTR. You know, we need to specify the reference table and reference field. Whenever you do use the CURR, you must use the CUKY. Whenever you use the QUAN, you must use the UNIT. That is related to your reference table and the reference field. Now, suppose if system wants to bypass this error, then you need to use the pragma. For each sling, you do have the different pragma that you will get to from here only. And then we do have some warning. Here there are 2 warnings. What it is saying, structure MAKD. Sometimes what you do, you declare the variable work area or the internal table, but you have not used that one. Even that error also you can get it now. Even though if you place the extra full stop also, you'll get the error. He's saying that you have declared the variable called LBFNAM, but you have not used that one. But you are saying that no, I still need it. Then you can use this pragma. You have declared the internal table MAKT, but you have not used that one. You double click on that, it will take you over there. See, it will take you to the program exactly in which line you do have the error, that it will take you. Even if you double click on this, it will take you over there. Can you see? You have declared, but you have not used. Similarly, you do have again 2. Declarations are global for the current event. What it is saying? See, it is saying that something. It is a wrong place. Where did you have declared? That is a wrong place. Even if I go with the 10, he is saying that do not use a field symbol globally. I told you that you should not declare all the data objects globally. Make it local as much as you can. So these all are related to the global only. Now, how to make a local and global? First, you need to divide the program into modularization technique. Then only you can make the variable global and the local. So directly, I will not fix the error now. I will let you know in real time, we should not write the program in one single part. So you are going to divide the program into number of parts. How we are going to divide? I will keep this program as it is. In parallel, I will open another screen. I will create the separate. I will go with SC38. So here I will take a different name like 01. I will go with the create option. I'm providing the title. What was the title over here? Same title I will take it. See, type executable should be saved in local object. If you want to transport, save in a package, or you can go with the local object. Suppose I want to save in a package. Save. So it will create the tr. I can say something like 01. Save. So this is a new tr. Enter. Always keep in mind, you first should create the to include. You must create the to include first. There should be, I told you that you must divide your program into modularization technique, and there should be at least two include. You can create more than that. There should be at least two include. So I am creating the two include, one include with ZA001 stock details underscore top, another with ZA001 stock details F01. Now these two include programs are related to this main program. So whenever you are creating any include program which is related to your main program, consider 90% same name. See, till here it is the same name, only last three characters are different. At least why we are taking the same name? Because it will give you the reference like these are relevant. Otherwise, when you start tracking, you never get to know that which program belongs to which part or which include is a part of which main program. So that is a confusion. So always keep in mind whenever you are going to create the include program under the main program, consider 90% same name. There is no restriction, there is no mandatory, but still for you. So ending with anything. So usually, as per some real-time naming standard, what we do is this we create for the declaration. One include for all the declaration. It can be data objects, nothing but variable, work area, internal table, and the selection screen. And second one is for subroutine. You know, whatever the perform you are creating, perform will be outside, and the respective form and form we will collect in another include program. So first we need to create these to include program. You can create these to include program from outside also by going with SC38. Otherwise, you can just simply double click on this. See, I'm going to double click. It is asking you include so and so does not exist. Do you want to create? Yes. So here I provide include for, I can say declaration. It can be data object or selection screen. Save, and I want to save in a package in a same tr. Do not create another tr because all are related to the same main program. So make it lock in a same tr. If you create a separate tr, then it will be issue for you. Okay. Now here I will move all the declaration like your selection screen, your table declaration, your work area, internal table, everything. See, I'm moving all the declaration. Likewise. In one include, I have moved my tables declaration, my selection screen, structure, work area, internal table, everything. Similarly, I'm going to create the second subroutine. Double click on this, create object, and this I can say for save in same tr. Now just come out of this. Okay. Now we will go one by one. Now very first initialization. So what you do, we will create a separate like as we discussed, you should not write the program in one single part. Divide the program into modularization technique, block of code. Now you might be having the confusion within the modularization technique. We do have subroutine, function model, include, field symbol, macro. Macro we never use. Rest is field symbol, but subroutine, function model, include are the important. So there is a standard procedure, protocol, or the format. So this is a format. First, at least you should create two include. One include contains all the declarations. Second include contains all the respective form and form. Whatever the perform you are creating, all the respective form and form should be collected in one subroutine. Now what I can do, I will create the subroutine. Now in that subroutine, I want to write this code, and this code is related to your plant default value. So you can give the meaningful names like init plant, initialize the plant data. Now what you do, you will create the respective form and form. How you are going to create? You are going to write it manually, like something like form, and this is end form, right? This is what we have done till now, but you don't need to write it explicitly. What you need to do, simply double click on this init plant. You will get the message subroutine init plant does not exist. Do you want to create? Yes. Now he's asking you, this is your main program, executable one, and these two are include program ending with F01, ending with top. And he's asking you, do you want to create the new include program for you? He's proposing the name itself. Can you see ending with I and F01? Now he's asking you, we were trying to create the form and form of this perform. Where do you want to create? Do you want to create by creating the include program? Do you want to create in main program? Do you want to create in include program ending with F01? Do you want to create in include program ending with top? Where do you want to create? Suppose if I select the main program, it will create the respective form and form within the main program, within your executable. But what we discussed, perform will be outside, but the respective form and form will be within this. Now how to do? Double click on this init plant, create object. Yes, I'm selecting this F01. I told you that this ending with F01 is specially for all the respective form and form. Whatever the perform you are creating, collect the respective form and form in this F01. See, so this form and form has been created in F01. Now what we do, copy and the paste. You can ask me, does it correct? Of course no. See, subroutine, init underscore plant is your subroutine, and initialization is the event. Now hierarchy wise, who is bigger one? Initialization. If you compare between the team lead and the resource, who is comes first? Team lead. Because of resource, the team lead is don't have the identity, but because of the team lead, the resource is having the identity. Same way, you should not declare any event within the subroutine. No, like hierarchy wise, event is bigger than subroutine. Then in that case, you should take this event declaration outside. Likewise. So when this initialization get called, the respective logic you can find within this form and form. Okay. Similarly, next event, that is a part of at selection screen. So the logic will be written in the format of subroutine. I can say validate, always meaningful name. I can say validate plant. Now double click on validate plant, create object. Yes, F01, enter. Now this logic need to be written under this, right? Next, we do have the startup selection. In that you do have this select statement, this select statement. Now what I can do, I will go with startup selection. I can say perform meaningful name, get data. Then I can say perform combine data. Then I can go with end of selection, perform display output something. So first double click on date data, create object. Yes, select F01, enter. Now what you need to do, whatever the select statement you have written, I will take that select statement into subroutine. here. Okay, like this. Okay, I have taken all the select statement into one of the subroutine. Similarly, we wanted to combine. Double click on this, create object, select F01, enter. Now, whatever the logic you have written to combine the data, it means this loop. See, we are writing one loop into another loop. So this is a part of nested loop. Even with this also, it will be impact on the performance. This is not a good idea. So to avoid this one, you need to work on the parallel cursor, but that's fine, right? Next, we are going to display the data. Create object yes, go with the F01, enter. So this is what we are going to display the data. End loop, like this, right? Now after that, you do have top of page, end of page, at user command. And even this set PF status is also, it either at PF is a part of event, we can say, set PF it is a part of command, we can say. So what I do is either you can write it directly or you can say perform set GUI status, we can say. So double click on this, create object yes, go with the F01, enter. So whatever the GUI status you are creating, that is always program specific. You know, this GUI status, this set of buttons you have created for different program. Now this time this is your different program. Now how to do? It means you need to create it again. But I would suggest no need to create, you can copy also. So what was that program? This one, ZA00 stock details report. For this program, you have created the GUI status. And what was that name? This one, GUI buttons. Can you see? These are the buttons you have created. Now use same buttons needed for the different program. Then you can go with the copy status. Can you see? Copy. So this is a source program, source GUI status. And this is your target program, target GUI status. That's it. Just copy, enter, and activate. That's it. Now if you go, you can see. Same thing, logic will be remain same. Now go back. Now similarly, we will go with top of page, perform header, then comes with end of page, perform footer. And to maintain the footer, first you need to divide the page. Before that, I'm removing the title and then I can go with line hyphen count. And what was that count? 42 in bracket 5. 42 in bracket 5, like this. Done. Now double click on header, create object. Now if I go with the header, this is the one. Go back, double click on footer. So this is your footer code. Now lastly, at user command. At user command, I can say perform something like call buttons. So double click on this, create object yes, select F01. Now you can copy this one. That's it. Just save, pretty printer, and activate. See, now if you look at over here, all your performs are outside. Now how beautiful it is looking now, right? All your perform is outside, all your declaration is in one of the include, and even this include is inactive. Your main program is also inactive. If I go with the F01, even that is also inactive. It means you need to activate all three. But while activating one of them, you will get this pop-up. This pop-up is for all the objects which are inactive. These are the list of objects which are inactive. So your F01 is also inactive, REP is also inactive, and top is also inactive. Now you are trying to activate this F01, so that is selected. But always keep in mind, while you are activating the program, make sure that you are activating all program together at the same time. You are going to activate all program together at the same time because these programs are dependent on each other. So you need to activate all together at the same time. If you are trying to activate one of them one by one, you will get a weird error which is not going to possible to activate. So make sure that if you are going to activate that, so that's the reason I told you that you should take the 90% similar name. With this, you will get to know that, oh, these are relevant. So you can select those. At the same time, you can activate. So all three programs are going to be activated at the same time. But if you still have the error, you can declare. Suppose here I have missed this. Declaration of this. It is saying that lv underscore maktx is inactive. It means it does not exist. So we need to go to this top. Yeah, likewise. Now activate. See, in one single go, your top is activated, your report is activated, your F01 is activated. Now we will check the performance. Go with program, check, extended program checked, activate all checked, and run the check. Same error. But if you look at the warning, you do have the different set of warnings over there. Extended program check. See, you do have 2 plus 2, 4 plus 10. How many? 14 plus 1, 15. And here if you look at how many there? 2 plus 8, 10 and 1. Almost 4 warnings has gone. But you need to work on the error first. So double click on this 17 first. I told you that these all are related to the hard coding. First, either if you want to bypass, so double click on this, it will take you to that specific line of program. Click on change, and here you can provide this one. So it will this message will be removed from the slin, but it is not the solution. So whatever the things you are seeing in the green color, those are the part of hard coding you must fix. How? Either you need to create the constant or you need to create the text element. If you do have the fixed set of values, then you can create the constant. If you do have the statement, then you can create the text element. Now here it is a fixed set of value. It will be always remains 4 digit. Plant will having only 4 digit number. Then it's part of fixed. But this text can be at any number of character. So then it's a part of text element. And if you want to declare the constant, you can say constants. Constant variable both are same. Both are supposed to hold the single value. Only difference is that constant will be having the static value. Variable will be having the dynamic value. The variable will be created by using lv local variable. Similarly, constant will be created C constant. Likewise, I can say 1000 in bracket 4 character type C value 1000. Similarly, I'm going to create second one. This is 3000 and this is also 3000. This is your constant. So you can remove the hard coding. LC underscore 1000 Similarly, LC underscore 3000. Even you should not declare this E. So you can do the constant. I can say LC underscore E type C value. So you no need to declare with this type C also, not required, like this. Okay, the same constant you can declare here also. Here also we are declare the 1000, 3000. I need to go with this I. Similarly, I need to go with LC underscore. You can take any constant name, could be anything. It is 2 character value. I can take BT. Okay, so here I can say LC underscore I, LC underscore BT, LC underscore 1000, LC underscore 3000. So this is how we can avoid the hard coding. If it is a fixed value, go with constant. If it is like this much of lengthy name, create how to create. You can go with utilities. Sorry, you can go to text element, text symbol. Select go to reach the text element screen. You do have the various way. You can reach by using SE38, one of the sub objects called text element. Text hyphen 000000, which you are going to create. With that way also you can reach it. Otherwise you can select go to text element, text symbol. See, you can create the text element with any sequence, and that should be 3 digit. Triple zero, 001, 002, 3, 4, 5, 10. Any number, any number. Or you can go with the combination of alpha and numeric also. I can go with message 01, nothing but M01. You can write like this and activate. Go back, and here you can see, you can remove this one and you can say text hyphen M01. And this is again constant. You can go like this. Pretty printer, activate. Now if you rerun your sling check, then just come back. See, it is showing the error. Just come back, rerun. You can find 16. Now you need to maintain all together at the same time. Double click on this, change. You can go to, I can say M02. So you can say M02. Now if you want, you can create the text element. Sorry, constant. The way you have created here. I don't need all. I need only S. Like, now you can ask me, do I need to create the constant for this en also? You can create the constant. Otherwise, SAP has provided one system variable called SciLongo. So SciLongo is a system variable. It will return you the current language. While you are going to log into the SAP system, see, I'm going to double click on this. Here you are going to pass the username and the password. Here you do have the language as well, in which language you logged in. So that value is going to be held by this SciLongo. If you logged in English, it will hold the en. If you logged in D, it will hold the D, nothing but German. Similarly, I want to create the next one, text element M03, like this. Okay, double click on this, create object, yes, like this. So the previous ones are here only. Okay, next. Here we don't have anything, but here we do have many. Okay, now what I can do, I will take all together at the same time. I will go with go to text element, text symbol, like this. Any sequence like F01, F02, nothing with field, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this. Okay, now you can replace with text F01. It should be replaced with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8. Now most of your error will gone. Now similarly we do have this one, total quantity and the total amount. I can say text hyphen T01, double click any number, you can give it any sequence. Okay, total quantity, I can say total amount. T02. Activate. So this is T01 and I will take T02. Done. Next. No need to do this for this one. Now we need to go with this material wise details. See, either you can create it by providing your own choice of text element number. Otherwise, you can simply pass and click on enter. System will propose a number for you. See, this time I'm not providing text element symbol. If I click on enter, system will propose a number for you. Anything is fine. Either we can create by your own choice or system will create it for you. Here I can say text hyphen 001. Similarly, you do have the page and the thank you visit again. So double click on this. See. Page, and if I click on enter, see 2 and 3. So it will create with 2 and the 3. Done. That's it. No need to do for this. If you want, you can do it, but these are the part of, no need to do for those. Now if you come back, your almost 16 error will gone now. See, only one. Double click on this one, type E. See, here you have provided the text hyphen 000, but you have not created. Even this case also it will give the error. Can you see here? The text symbol 000 is not defined. Even in not defined case also it will give the error. Now what you need to do? You need to define this one. So double click on this, create object yes. So you need to provide it as anything. I will provide it as selection input. Now there are 4. Now double click on this. It is saying that, see, whenever we use, see, whenever this menge is a part of quantity and it is a part of currency. Whenever we use CURR, you must maintain the CUKY. Whenever we use the QUAN, you must maintain the UNID. During the table and the structure case, we do have the reference table and reference field. But here in this case, how to do? If it is a quantity, we need to say that unit, and the field who is holding the unit of measure. So this is a field for unit of measure. And for this case, I can say currency, and this is a field which is holding the currency. You must have that field in that work area. So this field is holding the UNIT and this field is holding the CUKY. Now see, 2 of error will gone now. Now there are only 2. Again double click on this. Again this is related to the same currency and quantity. Same thing you need to pass over here. Okay, like this. Errors are 0. Now check for the warning. Try to, like I told you that if it is not 0 then it's fine, but you should have the justification. Now we will check, does it possible to remove these two? See, sometimes if you declare if you're not using, then you'll get the error. So he's saying that MAKT has not been used. You can ask me, sir, MAKT table, we have written the select statement on the MAKT. Actually, the reason behind to declare the tables is reason behind the selection screen. In the selection screen, whatever the inputs field we are defining, there we need to provide the reference to your table. Suppose if I have not declared any table, then system will give the error. System will not able to understand what is the meaning of this Mara. Can you see? Mara Matner is unknown. Mara Matner is unknown. So we need to say them that, see, Mara is my table and the MSCG is my table. Here we have declared the table field with reference to Mara and the MSCG, not the MAKT. So MAKT has not been used. If you are not used, then you can. Similarly, here one more is there. No read perform on the LV FNAM. He is saying that if you have not declared the, sorry, if you declare the field, if you have not used, then you will get the warning. See, one of the error warning has gone, only one is pending. It's saying that LV FNAM has been declared but not used. Now what should I do? I don't have any options. We must. Actually, this is a syntax. If it is, there is no any, like if you do have the justification, just leave it. Now similarly, we do have 7. Can you see? Do not use a field symbol globally. He's saying that you should not declare all the variables globally. Make them local as much as you can. Now, if you look at the work area, actually this internal table, see, if you look at, you do have many subroutine. Now in this get data, we are extracting the data from database to internal table, and from there with the combine, we are combining the data into final, and from there we are displaying the data. It means some internal tables has been used in multiple subroutine, but some work area has used in one of the subroutine. If it has been used in multiple subroutine, then declare it global. Otherwise, do not declare global. Now see here, this internal table has been used in more than one subroutine. So do not declare locally, make it global only. But if you look at this work area, it has been used in only one subroutine. Now, if you look at, all work area has been used here only. So make it local. So if you are declaring anything within the form and form, that will be called as local. Similarly, if I display, here only work area has been used. So you can declare this work area local, like this. Now no need to declare this globally. I'm just removing these. See, it has been removed now. Similarly, where this work area has been, sorry, this variable has been used, this has been used only during the display case, here. Otherwise, there is no any usage of this variable outside this subroutine. So make it local. Make it local, like this. Do not declare all the variables globally. See, I've just made it local. Plus, now if you look at here, see, repeatedly I have written types, types, types. No need to write the types repeatedly. What you can do, you can just make a comma like this. You can just make a comma like this. Now your most of the error will gone. Warning and the error. See, 1 plus 3. It is saying that IT Maramakat, IT MSCG, IT Final. You should not declare globally, but I don't have any options. Similarly, it is saying that explicit work area is necessary. Append C. It is saying that here you have written only append. I told you that if it is in the header line case, you no need to do the append from work area to internal table. By default, it is an assumption, but it was giving the error. So I have written here. Now you don't have even that warning to only +1. I do have the justification. I cannot make it all local. So that's fine. Now here you do have the 5 messages. What it is saying, the selection text for the parameter selection criteria s underscore matner is not defined. It means what? In the selection screen, whatever the field you have created, you have not provided the label for this. He's saying that provide the label. Now how to provide the label? Go with this text hyphen 000. You will go with the selection text and these are the field. Now what you can do, you can just remove this like question mark dot 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 and you can provide the description. Already you know this one. I will show you the one more way. Now, whatever the input field you have created in a selection screen, what is the reference for this? Already you have given the reference to standard table only. Whatever the input field you have created in a selection screen, this input field has been created with reference to your standard table field. It means if you go to this Mara table, you have created the Matner field. And of course, this Matner field, you do have the data element. In this data element, you do have the field labels. So my question is, do you want the same label in your selection screen? For this field, do you want the same label? Now you're saying that yes. Now similarly, if I go with this Mara ER, this ERSTA field has been defined in the Mara table, and for this we do have the data element, and for this we do have this label. Now my question is, do you want the same label in your selection screen? If yes, you no need to maintain that label manually. So what I would suggest, select this checkbox and click on enter. What system will do, whatever this input field you have created with reference to your table name and the field name, in that table for that field against the data element, whatever the label it has maintained, that label comes as automatically. Now you're saying that no, I want this created different name. Actually in that data element this was the name, or you're saying that no, I want the different label, and this is non-editable now. Now if you want to make it editable, deselect the checkbox, click on enter. Now it will editable. Now you can go provide the different name like this. Now if I click on execute, see, and if I look at the EPC, see, now this is a 15, and that 15 is related to the numbers. You have used the character position, and that is the information. You don't need to touch. Make sure that error must be 0. Try to fix it as much as warnings. If there is open, you should have the justification. And this is what your performance.